I planned that. All right, so it won't be too long in our message today because we've packed so much into this service. But I do want to make a point of understanding and maybe even taking some benefit from this one symbol that we have here. The eagle-armed cross in astrology and astronomy, it is traditional, it is an astrological symbol that the eagle-armed cross represents the earth. And it also can be depicted inside a circle in the same way. The cross represents the union of male and female, and therefore everything that intersects in the middle of that. In magic, the eagle-armed cross is a powerful magical symbol that can represent the 4 seasons, the 4 directions, and the 4 archangels. Drawing the cross either in the air or on a piece of paper with the right hand from top to bottom and left to right is believed to represent healing, blessing, and protective energies. As a Christian symbol, it's called the Greek cross, which represents the church spreading the gospel in the 4 directions. The Knights Templar and the Teutonic Knights. The eagle-armed cross is the symbol of the Knights Templar and the Teutonic Knights, which they claim is a symbol that even predates the global flood. In Judaism, it's resonant with the Star of David, as the one star points above and one star points below, and they're intersecting. In the Navajo tradition, the 4-armed cross is a construction of the first woman and man of creation, referred to as the Spider-Woman and the Spider-Man, which is where Marvel is, or is DC or Marvel? That's where they got it from, right? Marvel. And the woman was the weaver, and the man was the builder of the loom. And the intersecting lines of the cross represent the sun and the moon. And the military cross, known by the French term cross petit, which derives from a term meaning footed cross. This is actually the version of it that you'll find on the order of service that has the flared ends to it. Specifically, in footed animal, it was referring to specifically an animal's feet. Each arm is narrow at the center and flares out toward the end, giving a visual of dimensional perspective, or of the center extending off into the distance. It symbolizes military valor, military action in the name of God and nation. And there are literally hundreds of other instances of this symbol which exist throughout human culture, all of which have derived their own meaning and use from it. Now, as I said at the beginning of our service today, we are meaning makers. You know, if I asked you to come up with a meaning for you of this symbol, we all probably could come up with something. But I want you to think of it in a way that hopefully brings something new out in us. Now, if you have an imaginary line, we'll say from that column to that column, how thick is an imaginary line? Because we don't really draw it. It's imaginary. And yet, if we are drawing an imaginary line between those 2 columns, there's a line there by our own imagination. Now, if we were to take another line from the floor to the ceiling and intersect them, and ask ourselves, well, how thick is that line? Is there any thickness at all to an imaginary line? But in my mind, an imaginary line has the thickness of 1 particle of light. Because it can't be any thicker, certainly. It's imaginary. I don't know if it can be thinner than a particle of light, but it feels useful and helpful to me when I think of it this way, because the intersection of those 2 imaginary lines, the intersection no bigger than a particle of light, contains the entire universe. The entire universe of ourselves. The horizontal, the biological, the earth, our plane of reality, and the vertical, our spirit, our divine spark, the light of heaven, the light of all reality, That's us. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. And the intersection of those two realities is the entire universe of what we experience. It's the entire universe of the lens through which we view everyone else's divine intersection. Our entire purpose here on this earth is to never forget that we are spiritual beings, to never forget that we are human beings, that these two realities intersect in something as big as the universe that fits in the size of a particle of light. And that we must never forget that these two realities are together. It's the reason we are here. And we love to look at our humanity with disgust. And we love to look at our spirit with doubt. And yet if we lean into it and remind ourselves that the infinite space in that one particle of light is us in our entirety, and within it is contained every single thing that we ever hope to be in this life, and quite a bit beyond, then maybe that will fuel us in our exchanges with other people. That it will be the wind in our sails for the work that we do in this world. And that we'll remember there is no such thing as an insignificant joy. Because all of it is contained within that tiny, infinitesimally small space that contains the entirety of all reality. Remember that you are as miraculous as that tiny space. And that there is no larger or smaller when it comes to our mission and purpose in this life. And so to me, that's what this means.